Good morning. Thank you for joining us today on our podcast as we get ready for a Friday edition of Morning Moments with Jesus. And this morning, the Lord comes to us with a very special message for someone out there. Maybe you need to hear this today. I woke up with this on my mind this morning. It just would not leave me alone. I already had the verses in my head. Just before I even put my feet on the floor this morning, God really began to speak to me and says, somebody needs to hear this today. And what I want you to do, and I rarely ask this on our podcast, but if this does resonate with you and you feel like God is really speaking to you today on this subject, I really wish you'd leave me a comment or just let me know that God showed you something in this revelation from the Lord today. It's very important that we connect with each other. We're not only accountable to each other, but we encourage and uplift one another. And so today, as we get ready to do that, God comes with a very special message that says it is not over until God says it's over. Very important that we understand that, because life can often feel like a series of chapters and seasons, each with its own ups and downs, its own victories, and its own valleys. There are moments when we find ourselves at the end of what seems to be a very dark chapter in our life, feeling as though the story may be reaching its final chapter. But before you begin to think about the fact that this might be the end for you, God's got a different story for you today. It's a profound truth that resonates deeply within all of us, and it's a truth that says it's not over until God says it's over. And in John chapter 10 and verse 3 and verse 4, he's speaking specifically for his people, because he often calls us sheep, and we are he is our shepherd and we are his sheep. But I want you to listen to what John chapter 10 and verse 3 and 4 says. To him the porter opens, and the sheep hear his voice, and he calls his own sheep by name, and he leads them out. And when he puts forth his own sheep, he goes before them, and the sheep follow him, for they know his voice. I want you to know in those verses this morning that the sheep hear the shepherd's voice, and the shepherd calls his sheep by name. I want you to know this morning that God knows your name. He knows everything about you. And only that shepherd of those sheep can lead them out of where they are. And God desires this morning to lead you out from where you are. And he says when he puts forth his own sheep, he goes before them. I want you to know this morning that Jesus Christ is leading you out of your darkest chapter. And you just need to trust him. And you need to follow him, because the last part of verse number 4 says, the sheep follow him because they know his voice. The fact is that we face trials that can shake our faith and leave us questioning everything that we have always believed to be true. Relationships may crumble. Jobs just vanish. Our health starts to decline. And even dreams seem to shatter. But in these moments, it's easy to feel defeated, as though the weight of the whole world rests squarely on your shoulders. But during these times, it's important to remember that your circumstances does not have to define your future, because faith today is a powerful tool during these hard, dark chapters of your life. It can guide you through the toughest storms. I know that personally to be true. Many have experienced situations that seem hopeless, only to find a renewed sense of purpose and direction when they stood firm on their faith. The Bible is filled with stories of people who face insurmountable odds, yet somehow they found the strength in their belief that God had a plan for them beyond that chapter of their life. I want you to think about Job for a minute, who endured unimaginable suffering and loss. Yet he remained steadfast in his faith, ultimately receiving restoration beyond what he had had before. His story serves as a testament to us this morning that even in the darkest hours, when his friends may have said it's over, God still was working behind the scenes, and he says, I haven't spoken yet. So when we encounter setbacks, it's vital to remember and to remind ourselves that the end of one chapter is often the beginning of another. God's timing is not our own. We know that, and his plans can unfold in ways that we never anticipated. What may seem like a closed door to you could very well be a redirecting of God pointing you towards a new opportunity. It's in these moments of uncertainty that we must hold on to hope and trust that God is writing your story in ways that align with his purpose for your life. It took me years to really embrace this outlook, but I found that it can bring comfort and strength when we understand that God always wants the very best for us. So instead of giving into despair, we can choose to believe that our current situation is not the final word. Each day is a chance to start fresh, to seek guidance, to find joy in the little things. It's an invitation to just press on, knowing that God is always with us, ready to lift us up when we feel like we can't stand on our own or take another step. So I want you to start this day with the knowledge that God has the final say. No matter how dark your circumstances may appear, no matter what anyone else might have said, there is always hope. So when the weight of the world feels heavy and the future seems bleak, take a moment. Take a breath. Take a little time and just spend a little time with Jesus. And remind yourself that it's not over till my God says it's over. Trust that he has a purpose for your life, one that is ultimately leading you towards greater fulfillment and greater joy. I'll leave you with this morning. In this thing we call the tapestry of life, every thread counts, and every moment has a purpose. So embrace the uncertainty of your life, knowing that with God, the best is always yet to come. Your story is still being written, so keep the faith. As a beloved brother once told me, never give up, never give out, and never give in. Let hope guide you through, because, as we've said before, we'll leave it with this: it is not over until God says it's over. Be safe, be strong, and be blessed. And Lord's will, we'll see you back here again on Monday. Hope you have a great day.